Hello, welcome to Craw Security. I am Sartesh Kumar Sharma. So, in this session, we will discuss about my next topic, that is managing networking in Linux. So, how to manage the Linux operating system and how to work with networking. It means how to communicate two machines in a Linux environment. So in this, we will discuss first about the some theoretical portions, just like the networking concept related that is TCP/IP model. So what is TCP/IP network model? So first, we will discuss about the TCP/IP network model. So what is this model? In this, we will discuss. Then I will start the some practical part also in the next session. So in this, what is TCP/IP? TCP means transmission control protocol. IP means internet protocols. So these two different protocols that are used in a communication in a Linux environment and in Windows environments also. So these are some protocols. So protocols that are rules and regulations that are used when we transfer data from one machine to another machine. So TCP/IP, it's a protocol suite, or we can say that it's a network model. So it has four layers. In this, we have four layers. So these four layers will become a suite. So in this, we use different types of protocols. So within this, we use number of protocols. So it's a suite. So what is TCP/IP model? So it is simplified four-layered set of abstractions that describes how different protocol interprets in order for commuters to send traffic from one machine to another machine over the internet. It means TCP/IP model define how the data is transmitted from one machine to another machine, and what is the procedure that is to be followed from one machine to another machine. That whole concept will discuss in TCP/IP network model. So it's a big concept, not a small concept. But in Linux, my concept is that if I want to transmit my data from one machine to another machine, so what is the procedure that is followed in the background, that is defined by the network, or we can say that TCP/IP model. So it is defined by, so these are the four layers in this particular TCP/IP model, that is application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and link layer, or we also call this access layer. So these are layers that are used in TCP/IP model. Suppose if I discuss about the application layer, so what is the concept about application layer? So in this, we will discuss about the application layer. So each application has specifications for communicate to send, that clients and server may communicate across platform. It means we are using an application, and for using different applications, different protocols will work. Suppose if I want to transfer my mail, so which protocol, which procedure will follow while transferring the mail from one machine to another machine? So for transferring the mail, so that is a protocol, that is SMTP, that is used for transferring the mails, for delivering the mails. And if I want to share my data, so what are the protocols that is used in Linux? That is CIFS, NFS. If we want to communicate by using the HTTPS, so that is also known as web server. If I want to access another machine by using the remote access, so we use SSH. So different applications are used to communicate between different platforms. We can also have a Windows machine and we can also have a Linux machine. So different platform we can also use for the communication, but the protocol will same. It means suppose we have a one machine, this one, and we also have a different machine, this one, and this is Windows machine and this is my Linux machine, and we want to transfer between this and this, so these, and we want to access my data by using the SSH. So we can also use Windows and we can also use Linux. So in this protocol is used, and in other machine we can also use same protocol. So by using the SSH between these protocols, both can communicate, but protocol will be same. If I want to use HTTPS here and here also HTTPS, so we can also communicate, but protocol should be same between sender and receiver machine. So communication protocol will same. So this is the concept, that so each application for that I used for the communication between the client and the server between different platforms. So these are some protocols example like SSH, like HTTPS, NFS, CIFS, SMTP. So these protocols are used to communicate between different platforms, or the platform can be same also. Suppose we have one Linux machine, another Linux machine, so we can also use these protocols to communicate over a internet and over a LAN also. So this is the concept about the application layer. And what is the next concept? That is transport layer. So what is the use of transport layer? So transport layer is the second layer that is used to transfer our data from one machine to another machine. So transport layer protocols are, that is TCP and that is UDP. So TCP is also used to transmit data. UDP is also used to transmit data. But these have some small differences, just like it is reliable and UDP it's unreliable. It means it's connection oriented protocol. It means it's a connectionless protocol. In application layer, TCP uses 6 protocol. So this is the port number. TCP port number is 6 and UDP port number is 17. So these uses the port concept. What is the means of this one? This uses a concept that regarding to the port. So all the well-known port that are registered port that can found in this particular file. So this is a file in Linux machine where you can check all the port numbers. If you want to check all the port number related information, so you can see this particular file. So what is port? Port is just an entry point by which you can transmit your data. Suppose this is your one machine and this is my second machine, and we want to transmit our data from this machine to this machine. Then what I will do? These connected to the same switch. So this uses a HTTP. So it uses a 80 port. And here also the HTTP, same port. So the port number will same, but if I want to send the data, so source port number and destination port number. So this is my destination where I want to send my data. So the source port number, it is assigned dynamically to this particular, and this is the destination. So by using this particular source, it can send the data to this particular port. So port number is used to send, but if I transmit all the data will be transmitted by using a port. It can be a TCP and it can be a UDP. So if I want to transmit this particular, so it uses TCP to transmit the data from the transport layer, and it can also use the UDP to transmit the data from this particular layer. So it uses these ports. So this is TCP and UDP. And what is the other concept? So here we have one line, that is, what is packet? When we want to send a packet on a network, so the combination of service port, it means just like this is my port number and IP address. Suppose this is my port number 192.168.10.1, and we have designed a web server in this particular system. So we use a 80 port for this particular web server. So this combination is called the source socket. It means this is called socket. What is this? This is called socket. When we transfer data from this machine to this machine, so this uses the source and destination. So source socket and destination socket, both will be defined. It means my source IP is this, and which particular machine I want to send the data. So the second IP is, it can be 2 on which particular port, then define the port number. So this is the concept. Like each socket has its source socket, it means source address, or it is also have the destination address. So this is an address, this is only an address. If we use address and port, so that will become a socket. The combination of IP and socket will become a socket. So this is your IP address, this is your port number, both will form a socket. Socket means it's a listening port, and it's a listening IP address. So both will become as a socket. So we use just one word. This is your socket number. Socket, it means IP address and port number combination, that will become a socket. So this information can be used for monitoring and filtering. So we can filter which IP and which particular ports. So IP and port both are used for the monitoring purpose. So we can filter, this is allowed, this is not allowed, for any other reason. But here our concept is that what is the so now, so there is a disturbance of my internet, so no issue. So what is the use of transport layer? It means when we want to send a packet from my source machine to destination machine, so we should require a IP address also, and we should also require a port number. And when we combine these IP and plus port, that will become a socket. So the use of transport layer, there are two protocols that work on this particular layer. So this is reliable protocol, this is unreliable protocol. It uses port number 6 and it uses port number 17. So these all registered port, you can see these ports in this particular file. I will become some demo for this one also. So how to use this? See here. So cat is a command that is used to view the file. So that is services. Here all the ports, the entry of the all ports is available. So this is my port number. It uses UDP port. It can use TCP port, UDP, TCP. So these two protocols work on this particular. So on transport layer, only two protocols can work for sending and transmitting the data. But I want to check a specific port, that is, so we can filter this one. So by using the grep command, we can filter this, and I want to check only this particular port. So it has lot of ports, but I want to check only this one where the 80 is available. So this is W means only this one, this particular port. So this is related to the World Wide Web. It means this is a HTTP port. It uses TCP also, it uses UDP also, and it uses another port, that is SCTP, secure communication, for the secure communication. Mostly we use these two protocols, and other protocols also work on transport layer. But at this time we discuss only these two ports. So these are related to the HTTP server. And we want to check another port, and we can also type here SSH. The port number of SSH is 22. So this one, it's called 22 port, and it uses this one also, this UDP, TCP, UDP. So this is the port number, and I want to check the socket number also related to this one. So then how I can check? So we have another command, -tu nlp, related to this one also. So this will show about, so I have typed a wrong command here. So just give a grep to filter this one. See what it will display. See. So this is the listening port, TCP. So this is the IP address, and this is the port address. So any IP address you have in your machine, this particular service can be listened on this particular port. The IP can be anything. You can also specify the IP address. So this will become a socket. So SS means socket statistics. What is the meaning of SS? SS means socket statistics. So you can view the information related to the socket. So what is a socket? Socket is a combination of IP and port number. So this is a utility that is used to investigate, to check the socket information. So it uses, that can be a TCP port, it can be a UDP port. So you can see all the information related to this particular concept. So this is a big concept. So by using this particular command, and we have also a different command that is called net state. Both have the same, will show the same information, net state, network status. Also the same. This is the listening port. What is the listening port? So this is the listening port. The IP can be anything. So this is your IP address. This is your IP version 6. This is for the IP version 4. So this is the concept related to the socket. So then I will move to the next one, that is internet layer. So what is internet layer? So this is also known as the network layer. When we want to transfer data from one machine to another machine, so the IP of the source machine and IP of the destination machine will required. So there are two IP addresses that will work. It can be IP version 4 and it can be IP version 6. So these two protocols work on this particular layer. So this is called internet layer. according to the DoD model, Department of Defense. It means according to the TCP IP model. So each host required an IP address and prefix is used to determine the addresses. It means, what is the means of prefix? Suppose we have an IP address that is 192.168.10.20 and we have defined a prefix. It means prefix also known as the subnet mask, related to the subnet mask. So we can use in Linux prefix also and subnet mask. This is called, so what is subnet mask? This one, the subnet mask of this. So 255.255.255.0. So this is prefix, this is called prefix, and this is called subnet mask. Both are the same. So we can identify what is the subnet mask of this particular IP address. In Linux, we use this one also. When do practical, I perform a practical, then I will show what is the difference between. There's no difference. Mostly we use to assign the IP address this one. But in the earlier, some commands uses this one concept. So router is a device which work on this particular internet layer. So to connect to different network, we require a router. So this is concept related to the internet layer. So what is the use of internet layer? It is used to send the data from one machine to another machine, but we require an IP address. So source IP address and destination IP address will require. And if I want to communicate to different network, then we use router. So router is a device which work on that is used to for the communication for different networks. So router is a device which provides the path of the different network. And this is my last concept that is related to link layer. So this is the last concept of this particular topic. Then what is link layer? Link layer, access layer, media access layer. So this is used to provide the physical connectivity. It means physical media. And what are the protocols that work on this particular layer? So we use the network that can be a wired network. So this is the standard that followed in wired network. And we can also use wireless network. This one. This is all that is also known as WLAN, wireless LAN. This is called LAN, just LAN, local area network. So we can use this concept. It can be a LAN also, it can be a WAN also. And there is an address that is known as MAC address, hardware address, Ethernet address, that is known as. It can be it also called hardware address and MAC address, Ethernet address. That is a 48-bit address that is assigned on each NIC. So each NIC have a MAC address. So you can send data from one machine to another machine. MAC address is required. It means it work on layer 2. It work on data link layer, that is in a OSI model. So this is the link layer that is in a OSI model. So according to OSI, this is a first layer. It means combination of physical and data link layer. So it is used to identify for which particular machine, destination of the packets where you want to send the segment. So physical availability, so it is used to identification because MAC address is unique address. So we can identify which machine you want to send the data, on which particular machine, and from which particular machine it was sent. So sender MAC address and receiver MAC address will require for the communication. So this is about the link layer. I will show some example related to the IP address and related to the link layer, and some example, all things we will so I will show you related to this particular concept. Then this one I will discuss in the next video. Okay. So in this, what I have discussed in this session? So that is TCP IP model. In this we have these 4 layers, that is application layer, transport layer, internet layer, link layer. So these, each particular layer have its own work. Application layer has also its own work, transport layer, internet layer and link layer. Each layer has its own work and different protocols that work on these different layers. Suppose we have my machine, this is my machine Windows and this is my Linux machine, and I want to check my IP address. See, so which is the command that I use? IP ADDR. See here, at this time we have a IP in my machine, so that is 192.168.217.136. so this is my IP address and this is the CIDR value. So this is called prefix. Also we have one more address that is called broadcast address. So this is the broadcast address of this particular subnet, and this is my nickname, this one. This is my MTU value of this particular, this is up, and this is the Ethernet address. So this particular address, that is known as MAC address, Ethernet address, link address or physical address. So MAC means media access control. So this is a 48-bit address. In hexadecimal format, this is a 12 hexadecimal digit. And if I say in a byte format, it's a 6-byte address. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 6-byte of address. So this is the information that related to the layers. So this is about the layer. This is about the link layer. It means access layer. This is about the internet layer, this particular IP address. So we have 4 layers: application, transport, internet and access layer. So in this MAC address work, in this IP work, and in this port address work, and all the applications, all the protocols work in this particular. So if I want to access any program, any service, so all the servers are configured in this particular layer. So for using the program, we require this particular layer: application layer, transport layer, internet layer and access layer or link layer. So this is about the small discussion about the TCP IP model, because TCP IP is a big model. So it has a lot of theory, but in Linux concept, we should know about these concepts. So this is a TCP IP model. In the next session, in the next video, I will discuss this concept that is related to managing networking. In this, we create 2-3 videos and for some practical, and one after this we will discuss in the next session that is related to IP address. So I discuss in the next session related to IP version 4, then I will perform some practicals in the next video. So in next video, what I will tell about IP version 4. So this is the next session video. So thank you.